Well, hello. We are ready to get started. It's 8 o'clock on October 2nd, 2023. Thank you for joining. And for those of you that are going to watch later, thank you for watching later. So I thought we'd start tonight before our guest joins us um, with just a discussion of a topic or a presentation of a topic. And I would encourage anyone that'd like to call in below. My name on the screen is the website where you would go and stream, join, excuse me, the and could call in. So you just type that into your browser, and that would put you into our waiting area. So I encourage anyone that may be interested to join tonight or ask a question or share a thought to please take advantage of that opportunity. So there are two things I'd like to present this evening. Um, just as a quick overview, um, I think that people often try to figure out like what is the mix of success and what does it take. And I want to just share with you what I've learned along the journey is that I need to have a respect for people, places, and things. I also need to understand that if I'm gonna be successful, even though I have to deal with this similar and familiar stuff every day. But I'm going to bring a repeated newness to those people, places, and things. And then I'm going to make sure I have an assortment, a range of people, places, and things. So again, in life, we're going to have a circumstance where we're going to deal with people, places, and things. We need to have respect for them, and then even though there may be some familiarity and similarity that we experience, we're going to approach it with a repeated newness. And again, we're going to try to make sure we have a variety that we are dealing with as well. And something else I'd like to share with you um, is this slide, um, which talks about what are some of the things that we want to be mindful in the life we lead every day. And there are four things that I think it's important that we demonstrate and have an enthusiasm for. And I'll just go on to the next slide that just brings us a little clearer. Is that I think we need to believe strongly and have a very strong commitment and not be fearful. Secondly, that we begin now, no more slow moving, that we possess a sense of urgency, that we are also very interested in being bold and declarative and not reluctant, and that we don't want to waste any more time. We don't want to bleed anymore. We recognize that things have gone on too long. So that's often the mandate that we need to have for ourselves and encourage this for others is that an effort to believe strongly, begin now, be bold, and wasting of time, talents, and treasures be gone, and that should be our focus that we have with everything that we do. So I'm going to ask that we keep that in mind each step of the way. It's not like one thing we're going to do that's going to make everything work. It's the and. There's a lot of different things that we have to do to make it work. And at the same time, that often when we look at circumstances that we experience a challenge in, we often believe, oh, one thing happened. Again, it's also a circumstance where the and mattered. It wasn't one thing. It was that we struggled to be bold. We struggled to believe strongly. We struggled to begin now. And we've struggled to have the commitment to waste no more time. So it's the combination that defines what is a challenge for us. It's also a combination that makes it clear this is what we're struggling with or stressed with. And again, just want to repeat, right, for us to keep in mind that we are a whole person with at least the 8 different parts that are listed on the screen. And they're not in any priority order. They are all equally important, and they all impact each other. That our focus should be um, uh, paying attention to our health, our spirituality, how we're developing as a person, our finances, the place we live in, our environment and work and play, and making sure that that's safe and upbuilding. Uh, Also, our education, that we are on a journey, not a destination, and we're keeping our efforts to continue to learn open, that we recreate and we think about and give serious attention to how we recreate ourselves, and focus on recreating ourselves. And then, last but not least, is our family and friends and our network. Everyone needs a safety net, and often our family and friends are that safety net, so that we're able to feel secure, and able to feel and recognize that we're on our own, but we're not alone, and there are other people that are here to help us. So again, it's just recognizing that these are all different aspects. And again, going back to the point about our health requires and is supported by our spirituality. Our spirituality is supported by our personal development. Our personal development is impacted by our finances. Our finances are impacted by our environment. Our environment is impacted by our education. Our education is impacted by our ability to have fun and to recreate. Our ability to have fun and recreate is often impacted by our family and friends. So again, just to remind ourselves that when we're making decisions, we want to do our very best to try to satisfy each one of these areas with our decisions, and not put one in a premier circumstance that cancels out the others. And again, I think often we just have to believe that I can bring it all together, and make it work. But again, often we have to know what to call it, and recognize its importance. Another piece that I think is also vitally important is where you're located and your geography. That often, sometimes we could be successful, but you have to look at where you are, and the timing, and the stakeholders and the other partners that exist, and whether or not this is a person, place, or thing that can afford to see you do well. And often, the geography of your success is something we want to be mindful and to keep in mind. One of the last thing that I would want to review is, again, the basis of this program is trying to pull together these 4 M's and making it clear that there is a belief that our job is to bring, again, all of these together, that it's important for us to have a map and we answer where we're going. It's important that we focus on our mental wellness, and that we are answering in the affirmative, are we okay? Um, Thirdly, that where there's mediation and there's options for us to consider. And we ask ourselves the question, did we consider this? And last but not least is mentoring. Who's got your back? And again, it goes back to that network and safety net that we talked about. And again, each of these things are individually important. And often when you have a map, it's going to help you with your mental wellness. It's going to help you to seek out options in mediation, and it's going to help you with your mentoring. And again, often when you have mental wellness, mapping and mediation and mentoring. So these things are often impacted in a positive way by each other. But it's important for us to just to recognize how important it is to be there. When you look at a newspaper article, you listen to the news, you just take a view of something that has happened. You begin to start seeing, oh, you know what? Mental wellness did make a difference. Mapping did make a difference. Mediation did make a difference. Mentorship, again, often in a positive way. but also as you try to examine what went wrong, you begin to see that, oh yeah, that map that they had, their ability to consider different options was a challenge, and their mediation was an issue. That their mentors, they had mentors, but some of the guidance that mentor was giving, was not really in the best interest. And again, it seemed that they may have struggled with their own mental wellness, and really trying to make sure that they're okay. So again, it gives you an opportunity to look at what has happened in a positive way, but also in a challenged way. So please keep those 4Ms as something you keep in mind as a way to remind you of the balance that we need in order to be successful. I think often we want to believe that it's an easy task, that anyone can do it, but there's a lot of work that goes into trying to navigate and again to be successful. It's not an easy task. If everyone could do it, this would be a different world. But I think that what makes it a difference is the fellowship that we're able to entertain with each other. I think often we try to accomplish a lot in isolation. And again, one of the depictions winning strategies we've used is about the library, and the library of the known and unknown. And there's a few books in our library of the known, and there's a lot of books in the library of the unknown. And they're often the answer is in something, a person, place, or thing that we haven't experienced yet. And that's why that safety net and that network makes a world of difference. So again, I want to, just encourage you to recognize it is a lot of work, but it's work that can be done. And especially if you surround yourself with other people who can afford and are interested in seeing you do well. So we have a guest tonight. Mr. Demetrius is going to join us, and he has an interesting story that he'd like to share with everyone. So we want to allow him to do that. So without further ado, I'll bring him on. So welcome, Mr. Demetrius. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm doing good.
Good. So Demetrius, you and I go back a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
We both had hair.
Yours is going way before mine.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Demetrius. I remember I remember Demetrius as a young man, and I used to tease him. I don't know if he still are, but he was a real Michael Jackson fan. And if you wanted to get Demetrius going, you got him riled up to say anything against Michael Jackson, and it was on. So are you still a Michael Jackson fan, or have you?
Yeah, I still like Mike. I still like Mike music. I like him. It's my guy.
Yeah. So I know you're in a busy place there, so we're going to try to talk loud so you can hear us, and please do the same thing. So Demetrius, you want to share any part of your story with people? How old you are, where you're at, whatever you feel comfortable with sharing.
Well, my name is Demetrius Longer, and I'm 37 years old, and right now I'm in a halfway house. I was just released from prison. I just did 18 years.
Wow. You want to explain a little bit about the 18 years?
When I was younger, I was running around. I was running around in the streets and carrying guns and running around robbing people and robbing stores and stuff like that. And I went to rob somebody. I went to rob somebody's house rob somebody, and it just, of course, they wanted to protect their home, and he wasn't in the wrong. I was, and I caused the man's death.
Wow. So how have you, in your own mind, how have you come to grips with that circumstance, and how have you made it make sense to you?
I always ask myself. I wonder sometimes. I'll be like everybody that was around me at those times, like my friends, like that was around me, even my brother and everybody, like everybody that was around me at that time is dead. And I do sometimes I'll be wondering, I'm like what saved me?
Mm.
You know, like all my friends from down here, they dead. Everybody's
Wow.
dead.
Wow.
You know, and I sometimes I do wonder what saves me and like what's the plan?
Mm. So let me
Like what's
just
the
bring something.
plan?
Let me just bring something up on the screen here. And I don't know if you saw this when we were talking earlier about the 4 M's. So let me ask you some questions along those lines, Demetrius. Like, what is your map? What is your plan? As you said, you're in a halfway house now. But what are your plans for the future?
Um, I just plan on. I just wanna work and get some things started. I got a job.
Congratulations. I heard that was
Yeah,
today.
I got a job.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah, just wanna work, get something put away. You know, I still got things that I need that I gotta get,
Mm.
and I want to get my license.
Okay. Wow. So
No,
you
just
haven't driven well, in a long time.
in a long time since I was
Wow.
driving your vans.
Yeah. Weren't they stolen? Oh, Jesus. All right. But secondly, Demetrius, your mental wellness, how are you doing now with all that you've gone through? Are you okay? How do you feel?
um, it's not easy, and I'll be trying to tell people that it's like I feel like I felt when I was younger, like I was just taken away from my mother and my siblings and everything, and that everybody just felt like that, like I was just supposed to bounce up, like it
Mm,
was just supposed to be like, oh, just get like you gonna be all right, just get over it, like it was just that's how I feel now. That's how the people in this place work.
mm,
Like they promised all this. Oh, we help you do this. We gonna help you do that, and it's none of that.
wow.
And it's none of that. It's like we on our own to figure it out.
Mm,
And so it's kind of frustrating time for time. And I had a couple of situations where I'll just be like, man, I can't do y'all. Like I can't do y'all. I'm about to leave. But then
mm,
it's not just me anymore. Like it's not just me. I have a daughter.
mm,
You know, it, my mother want me to, what I mean, be there with her and all that. It's just not me. It's just not just me. Like,
mm,
and that's just the growth. That's just the growth. Because a long time ago, like I just wouldn't have cared. I'd have just left.
mm.
And you know what I mean. But now I'm thinking of the consequences of it. Like, I mean, it's satisfactory for this one little bit of time. Like, okay, I got over this, but then I just opened up a door for 1,000 more problems. You
Mm,
know what I mean? More problems that I would have had if I'd have just, sat still.
right.
So
And
I mean,
so,
so
so
I see
Demetrius,
growth.
sorry, go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, no, I just so I why I see things like the way, like I see the good things that the situation has helped me with, because it, like I said, it stops me and it helps me think
Mm,
about these things. Like I'm not perfect, but it helps
mm.
me. I do stop and I think about things more.
Like one of your buddies, one of the Johnson brothers, just posted here. He said, "Oh man, stay focused and humble. Haven't seen you since we were kids." So I don't know if that's Clayton or Clinton, but um, that's his words. So who do you see now for your counseling? He says it's Clayton. So who do you see now for counseling? Is that available to you now?
Yes, I went over to the 'cause we go to get an evaluation. I'm ready to go get another one,
Hmm.
and because they want me to go down to another place, so I'm gonna go get another evaluation there,
Okay.
and I see a therapist there.
Good. Good. And mediation. Like if you find yourself in a tight situation, do you know where to go to get some help? And so to help, consider different things and options. Like what's available for you as a resource? Because that's what Brittany said is, do you feel like you have the proper resources for sustainability? Do you feel that you know where to go to get the help that you need?
I know I could always, ask y'all. I could always ask you. I always got need to, you know what I mean? And that's another thing, I started doing, like I learned like more, like I'll just ask for help, man. Just
Mm,
ask for help instead of trying to do it myself and then get out here and then be trying to do dumb stuff and all that stuff,
mm,
like just ask
mm,
for help.
mm,
But yeah, it's definitely something I need though. Like
mm,
for a long time I fought it. Like I didn't think, especially black people, man, we don't think we need no therapy and nothing like
mm, mm.
but like it's something that I really realized that I need
Wow.
that I
And
need.
who's your mentor? Who has your back? I think you mentioned Miss Nita, but like who is looking out for Demetrius?
Um like other than y'all, like I really don't like I don't have nobody that I can count on.
Mm,
That's the thing that I could count on.
wow.
Like so that's what I'm saying. Like
Well, please.
I'm
I
just
mean,
here.
I think that you and Miss Nitsa have developed a relationship that's lasted several years now, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Besides,
So
like, yeah,
right,
that's what I'm saying. I was
yeah,
excluding y'all. Like
right,
besides,
right.
like y'all, like I have nobody to I can count on for real.
Wow. Well, please count on us to provide you some help. Also, your buddy Clayton, also known as Rabbit, which is news to me. He wrote there, the OVR helps people who just came out of jail with housing and job placement. I have the info if you need it. Help me to get my job placement. So he's saying that OVR, the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation here in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, may be an option for you when it
Okay.
so just keep that in mind, and I'll make sure that I speak to Miss Nitsa so that she can bring you and Clayton together, and just to talk as a resource for each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
That's
can,
the thing that I've been running into. Like my parole officer, even she said she like this place is no good. Like this place is no good. We need to get you out of here. Because this place is no good. Like she wanna.
so let me ask you this, Demetrius, what would get you out of there? What is the
Uh,
halfway house? How long do you have to stay there, and what happens next?
I could be out of here tomorrow if I had a place to go.
You mean a place to live?
Yeah, if I had a place to live, like they can come through, they parole will come through. They'll check the place and everything good. Then yeah, I could be out of here.
And what does that, if you don't mind sharing, what does that cost? When you look at the numbers, what would that cost you to get a place to live?
Um, it depends. Like right now, I'm just trying to step. I'm just trying to step. So a little room, get a room is not far away from me. Like I'm not behind that. Like so, it should be like probably like $100 and something a week or something like that, or $200 a week.
Let me tell you this. Something said to me, get a scratch off. So I went to the machine and I
Yeah,
got a scratch off, and it's the 5 million fabulous fortune. I didn't win 5 million, but I did win
yeah.
$500. So I'll make sure that I cash this in and I get it to Nita. So I'll give you this $500 I just won this evening. I'll make sure it passes on. That'll be the start of your housing budget to try to find a place so you can get out of there. Because I know it's tough
I'll,
being there.
yeah.
So God gifted me, so I'll gift you, the proceeds from there without taking my cut out of it, and hopefully that'll be the start.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, man.
no problem,
I
no problem.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally, my wife is not gonna be happy because normally when I win any proceeds, she gets it all.
She takes it.
Yeah, well, not tonight. So you'll get it.
You better
Again,
not
I
tell
pray
her.
that you use it well. Um,
Yeah,
so,
I'm gonna put it up.
well, good. So, Demetrius, what else can people do for people that are coming back home? to help out. I mean, I again, my belief is you've done your time. You've paid back, society for what you did. 18 years is a long time. And I think some people would say, well, there's someone who's no longer living. Well, again, the judicial system said this was the price for that full circumstance was your 18 years. So we have to accept, what the judicial system has said and move on. So
Yeah.
assuming that we do that, we accept it. What can people do so that you don't go back again because you've done another crime? What can we do to try to help you and other people in your situation?
I'm seeing a lot of guys have the problem with the housing. Is with the housing.
Okay.
And what it is see why the housing is so important is that see you got dudes coming, this guys that's in here that's 60 years old,
Mm,
and they coming home from doing 40, 50 years.
mm,
Like like it's like 60, 69 and all that. They doing 40, 50 years. Like they don't want to come here and then have some kids that's younger than them, and they just here with the snotty attitudes, they disrespectful. It's just a whole bunch of like, and it just causes problems, and it just trickles down.
mm,
And there's always something. Then they don't want to do their job right. Then it's all like, it's just always something. So it's just like if it's possible, you can skip this part of it. Then yeah, because they don't really provide nothing. Like everything that you need is going to be at Career Link. So if I go down the street to Career Link, they're going to help you with the jobs. They got some resources there.
mm,
So it is some things around us from where we at right now. Like the welfare office is by Career Link. You got the hospitals that we got to go and do things and make sure our insurance is right. So it's convenient things around us. But if we can skip this process right here, and that'd be something.
mm. All
That'll
right.
help a major way.
And again, your buddy Clayton, Mr. Gambino Johnson, says that the job and house the job and housing placement is a real issue. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. All right.
yeah,
So you give us some homework because again we see all too often what happens to individuals that have
yeah,
been in, they end up going back again. So if there's something we can do with sharing resources about jobs and places to live, as you're saying, that could make a world of difference.
yeah. I mean, if that's something you might want to get into, because like even if it could be like a group setting, whereas though we all can do like we all could pitch in. It's a group setting in a group, like just like a group home. Even if it's something like that, like we had our own, we all got our own rooms, we had our own, like this is what it is. Like people, like you've been down for a long time,
Mhm.
and you got guards saying, "Oh, do that," and you got to do what, even if it's the wrong thing, and they ask you to do it, you got to do it, and then take it up with the superiors.
Wow.
Like so, they don't want to come home, and that's where the impatience be coming at. And I found myself there a couple times. I'm like, yo, I can't do y'all real, and it be impatience, but not everybody, not everybody stops and thinks sometimes to themselves.
Wow.
Because I didn't stop and think.
Mhm. And let me ask you one question before we get ready to wrap up, Demetrius. When you came out after spending 18 years, what was different that when you came out than when you went in? What were some of the things that were like a shock to your system that have changed in society, whether it's technology, whether it's just the way things are done, whether it's resources? What was like a wake up call for you that it's a different time?
Uh, well, first of all, like yeah, like a lot of things change, like a lot of streets, especially Chester. The whole Chester has changed.
Mm,
Jesus. The streets changed up, everything. Like I get lost going to my mom's house sometimes.
wow.
Like, and I might have been there like 5, 6 times already, but then I was still getting lost at first. So I would literally have to pull out GPS to find out
Mm,
how to get to my house.
wow.
Like it's just, yeah, it's that you don't know. I panicked the first time. I didn't know where the hell like I was. Like I didn't
Mm,
know
mm,
what was going on. Everything was just moving fast. And then I got the anxiety attacks,
mm.
and like it just didn't help. So I panicked
Wow.
the first time. I ain't gonna lie.
Wow. Demetrius, I really do appreciate your honesty with sharing your story and sharing some of the challenges, but also some of the successes that you're making each step of the way. And again, today being the day you finally got your job, you're off and running. And again, hopefully the little bit of money that I'll pass on will help you with some housing, and we'll ask you to come back in a month or two just to check in with us to see how you're progressing. But I want you
Yeah,
to commitment to yourself, Demetrius, never again to go back to that big place. No more time. 18 years.
yeah. I can't. That's what's holding me. Like I don't really have a desire to associate with anybody that I knew from that past. Like I've seen a couple people. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't. I don't have the desire to surround myself with that type of company.
All
Like
right.
it's just I don't see where it's going to benefit me. Like where is it going to take me?
Right. Right.
Like it's not taking me nowhere. Like so I can stay in there and talk to you for a little couple minutes and all that, but I'm just not being out here on this corner with you.
Right.
Like
And I think you bring up a
and,
good point, Demetrius, that everything starts, with that first conversation. So if you never have that first conversation, we couldn't get to, planning some of the
yeah,
bad stuff. So I think what you're filtering is, the people, places, and things, so that you're not started on a journey that you don't want to see
yeah,
happen. So
yeah.
good.
All I stayed with is family, man. That's all I stayed with. My cousins. Like I just be like whenever I'm out, I ask them to ride me around, take me to places that I need to go. Like, and I be with my mother and my daughter.
Mm,
That's it.
wow.
Like I don't really.
Well, that's a good beginning. That's a good start. I'm sure they missed
Yeah,
you enormously for those 18 years. So.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to let you go, but I want to again thank you so much for your honesty and
Uh,
for giving us some insight. And we're going to follow you to make sure you do right.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
No question.
You've been good to me, man.
Mm,
Anytime I needed you, you always been there, and I appreciate that.
no problem. The least I can do. All right.
How your
Thanks
brother
again.
doing?
Oh,
Why you start laughing?
yeah. That's a
How your
that's a
bro-
that's a that's a show for another day.
Oh, I. You funny.
All right. Love you dearly, Demetrius. Stay
I
strong.
love you too, man. Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening to have this conversation with Mr. Demetrius. I hope this has been helpful to you to give you some insight, also to help you, see the forums coming together and what that means for a person. And sometimes I think we feel very challenged by our situation. So hopefully, this has been a wake up call for us to look at our situation a little differently. Because if Demetrius can, find a way to keep smiling and keep moving on and trying to overcome his challenges, then I think that gives us a mandate to do the same for us. So we'll be back next Monday at 8 p.m. Thank you so much for joining today. Take care.